You are now live. Great to see you. Happy Boxing Day to all the friends of the YouTube channel, The Market Sniper. Glad to be with you. It's great to be with you indeed. In fact, a little bit out of focus. Let's stick an extra light on here. Hope that will bring the shiny dome into perspective. Speaking of shiny domes, did you do your shoulder presses today? I do it every day to pump the price. Do your shoulder presses, your good mornings. Yes, happy. Silver through 75 and through 76 on the way to $76.50 day. And that is an amazing event that you should be very, very proud of. Congratulations. It was at 25.9 and now you find yourself well through 75. That's a 3x, by the way. The 25.9 was the primer break and the famous pilgrimage quote from our nemesis, the dollar Maximus. That's right. And since then, we've gone up three times. I hope the puts haven't put anybody into the poorhouse that somebody might have had on silver during that time at that level. Let's go see the charts. Let's go. Ooh, 77. Dang, 77. It's happening live while we are doing it with you. It's time to look at the chart. Something else that's been going on. 77. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. Isn't that just dandy? Now, people are going to get you out of this too soon. So the heading to this YouTube is, when do I sell? And the story is much later than you think. First of all, wrong question. How do I maximize the biggest single-minded mega move that's ever going to happen? People don't understand. There are phases in breakouts. There's the break and feign back in. We teach you this in HVF method. There is a link. You can get a free mini series, by the way, completely free on us, and we won't sell your email to anybody to sell you, stiffy pills or anything like that. No, we don't do that. But you can also book a call. What happens is you first get a break and a feign back in, and it starts slow at first. Then you make the first interim, which is usually not very far away from the funnel. Then you chop around and you pull back. Phase number 3. Now, 3 is a lovely number. Yours truly is born on the 30th day of the 3rd month of the year, and that makes me an Aryan, number 1. Oh, so much ego in that. I'm just laughing. I don't know if that means anything. But I can tell you 3 is a magic number in that sense. And the 3rd stage in a runaway breakout, and this is now we're talking on a much bigger time frame. Let's leave our 77 run. Oh, look at that erectile projectile. The 3rd stage of a runaway breakout that you will learn in our theory. See, feign, break back in, make walkie, make the first interim. In fact, it was roughly here it was. And it's all quite tame. You then go from first interim to second interim, especially when they separated by a massive distance. 90.5 is interim number 2. The first interim was over here at around 37-ish. 37, that's right. And when you go from 37 to 91 in open territory, you go into what's known as phase or stage 3. Now, if it's an upside HVF, that's known as a meltup. If it's a downside HVF, which you could probably say the dollar is in, for example, that's known as a major capitulation. What you're actually having is debasement and capitulation in currencies that is being reflected in metals. Added to that, you have a shortage on silver specifically, which is giving it an accelerated run. Then the big point that most miss, and hence why the question you're asking is not really the right question at this juncture. It's too early. We will tell you people will get out too early. The real question is when you have a pattern structure for such length, how long is that melt up phase? So you're in phase 3. You don't need any conviction of that. You never not know it. Now, a normal HVFs of 4-hour duration or daily duration, these are actually quite short in time. Of the total travel time, they're quite short, but it's where 80 to 95% of the move is often made. It is the fast part. There's a saying in the stock market, if you miss the 7 best days of the year, you're usually going to end up on a negative number every single year. What that means is it's kind of like the 80-20 Pareto principle, only it's probably more like 95-5 or even 99-1. You need to be in it to win it on the greatest, bestest days. And when you have a setup that started at probably 64, Gulf of Tonkin, false flag, everything tends to happen during there. You see, I just said a word that the algo doesn't like. Please help me and hit the like button and send it a share to a mate that needs to subscribe. We want to do 100K in 2025. Yeah, we have got a couple of hundred more to go. We'd like you to help us get over that. Thank you for the super chats. I'm going to refer to them in a minute. Give me some time. I am not ignoring you. So this macro setup, as we've highlighted, is one of the biggest setups of them all. Every stage is longer. You would have felt so bored. We were calling so bullish at 25.9, and it felt like it was kind of going up, but it was like up, a little bit down, 27, back down to 26, up to 29, 30, back down to 28, weeks and months taking place, bouncing around here. You got a negative candle at our triggering event. We jumped on and said, the macro pattern is triggered on this YouTube channel, to help you know about that. That's right. That's right. You get quite a bit for free, but you would get so much more if you were inside the community links below. Anyway, so you stood around for a while, but then eventually you got your 30.13. That's your triggering event, that number over there. That's that level over there. And then not that much happened really on a day-for-day basis. And you think, this is not working. So every stage is extended by your normal time frames. Most of us do not have a time frame that is beyond 4 hours because we need things to happen and we get bored and we start playing something else. We're that meme with the stick poking something, waiting for something happens, until you get to the mega phase, which is melt up on the upside HVF. And then no sooner that it starts, everyone that never called the bull is now here to showing up, calling the top. That's how it works. People that never told you at 25.9 are now telling you how much it's gone up and it needs to top. You get the likes of Peter Brunt and lots of others. It's going up too fast. Of course it's going up too fast. It won't go on forever. There will be a hard pushback, but not as soon as you think when you are dealing with a structure from 1980 to 2024 when it broke its primer, 2025, it was late 24 on the primer, 2025, April-ish when it broke the main structure. You're talking about the single biggest HVF, the best party you will ever have in a trade, and the best stage in that 5 stages of a breakout that we teach you is number 3. It is where you get all the juice. It's the 80 to 95% of all the profits you make. And because of how things work, it's an accelerative thing. So the last 20% of the best stage gives you 80% of your profits too. It's kind of really weird. This is what's called a parabola. It's got unique maths and all the guys get it wrong. Even the metalheads are telling you there's no way, there's no low risk entry here. They're looking at these big erectile projectiles and saying there's no low risk entry. On one level, on the 3 monthly time frame, they're 100% right, because if you're entering this HVF now at $76, your stop almost needs to be down here, or at least at the primer's low down there. However, if you understand HVF method, if you recognize continuation is made up of lots of smaller fractals of continuation across a multitude of time frames, from right down from the 3 month, right down to the monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hourly, and the 15-minute, the 5-minute even, amazing. And I'm not telling you to now become day traders on the 1 minute, the 3 minute, and the 5 minute. I do these things to just prove a point that right down to the lowest level, opportunities are presented. Now, as you go down lower time frames, the outcomes are more risky. You can have a quick flush out and small 5-minute patterns can flush. Again, I'm not telling you to trade a 5-minute structure, but on lower time frames, the statement that there are no low risk entries are not correct. They are not correct, friends. No, you can if you know and you have method and you understand stop losses and you understand money management. Money management. Yes, you've got to understand all of that. So let's check in on your chats. Where are you guys checking in from? We read them all the time. So let's have a look at where some of these opportunities have already occurred that we have exploited. Where have they already occurred? So I dropped to a month and I start dropping you down. Still very, very fast, mainly green candles. The phrase, no easy, low risk entries. Look at that. Well, you start to see some stuff. Let's just hide some of the lines. You can see during this period, for example, that there was some form of continuation at the critical level of $50, which, by the way, we said with Mario and other people that we showed up on, you're likely to get a small recognition of the key $50 and pullback. You went up to $54 and you pulled back to 45. That is the smallest handle on the cup and handle structure that was recognizing the $50 mark. Look at where you are today, $76.85. $76.85, friends. That is where you are today. That was a real opportunity. Let's have a look at a lower time period as we drop down the time frame. You will see there's more continuation in that. That was, my friends, a beautiful upside HVF. You can start to see it. We added extra size with leverage and with managed losses on the way up. You are in a beautiful melt up phase. Yes, there will be sell-offs. There will even be harsh slapdowns. But what happens when you are doing this kind of technique of maximization, and it's something not for the average newbie or just an investor, then a lot of what you've already heard is probably accurate, but with real method, you can break into these trades. For example, entries somewhere along here with stops over there could have been put on. The target for these structures could have been taken 50% off over there, and half the position can be rolled into the rest of the move because we are trading one pattern on a smaller time frame, daily is not that smaller time frame, by the way, into a far larger macro that's given us a target of $333 and even beyond that into overperformance. Our known big time frame quarterly pause areas is 90.5 for second interim and 333, the target. And then we go further and our exit starts to occur. We start to thin as we drop below 10 on the gold silver ratio. By the way, happy gold silver ratio in the 50s. That's right. You've dropped out of the 60s. You took the 65. There was a reaction there on a small time frame, much like this little is a handle for the macro cup and handle, and it was a little cup and handle of its own. However, HVF method framing is far superior to cup and handles. You get better targets, you get interim levels, you get in earlier, you have tighter risk management, and you're sooner and you're out better selling into strength. And if there's overperformance, you're in a better methodology for managing that overperformance. Again, link below, book a call. This is your opportunity to maximize it. You are in the sweetest spots of all sweetest spots. Right here, right now, you are in the melt up phase of a mega period of melt up. It's going to be the longest period of melt up. It's still going to be relatively short given the scale of the pattern. Don't forget, 64 all the way up to 80 was just the up leg. You're talking about better part of 16 years just making your H1 into 80. 64 right the way through to 2024, you're talking a long old 60 years to when the primer triggered. 60-year setup. You think you aren't going to have a couple of months of stage 3 melt up? You're going to have a couple of months and there's going to be disbelief. The metalheads themselves are going to be disbelieving it. They're saying, no easy entries. Well, stop looking on the quarterly and the monthly charts and the macro charts Those are all well and good. We've just shown you one instance that we exploited, that we got long on the lower time frames. That's a daily. You can go lower than daily too. And this is, again, not to be done by people that have no experience in trading. If you have a little look over here, you will see another HVF, a smaller one, a beautiful smaller one. In fact, they're everywhere. There was a slightly imperfect one over here, beautiful low volatility. You could have bought during these spinning tops and saying there's some funneling going here. You could have had a stop at that low. You could have started to play safe with a stop at that low. You could have brought it under this. You would have broken into this trade. You would have then got your next upside HVF. You could have added further position each time, entries and stops over here. You could have moved this stop up to there. After this reversed, you would be putting further entries in here. You would have had a stop again there, might have started here, ended there. You would now be there. You went up, you went down, and so it goes. You could have trailed all those stops from both patterns, pattern number 1, pattern number 2, Greek 2, and they could all be sitting here. You had a flag here with a flush out, a really strong hammer bounce all the way back up. You could have entered on the spinning tops there. You could have put a stop there, and guess what? You'd have a stop at 70. You would have got long on 72, and you're now trading virtually 77. 72. These are big dollars dropping, guys. We used to sit and count cents. Silver was up 15 cents, 20 cents. That was big days. Dollars are dropping in short succession now, and people are in disbelief. The trades are still here. The trades are still here. You have not got crazy yet. As much as this is a melt up on the quarterly chart, it's actually a normal trending chart on the 4-hour, and it is providing continuation setups. And you can slowly build stops that are quite well away from the current market from continuation patterns that you have used to break into a bigger position on this. And you're turning short-term trades into hodl positions with macro targets that will reward you immensely during the juiciest phase. So let's just, in all this doomer news, let me just tell you the most interesting thing. You have a 60-year pattern that took 60 years to set up. That's going to perform in substantially less time to its target. It is unbelievable quality. And within that, you're in the fast-moving phase right now, and people are thinking that's going to be over in a couple of weeks when you're in a 60-year structure that's got to get probably to 4 digits. 4 digits. 77 is early. Let me tell you, compared to 333, 77 is early. Compared to gold-silver ratio, sub 10, which is your true beginning to pivot into gold, productive assets, maybe even some of the dodgy status cryptos that they will pump once they've destroyed everybody who never bought precious metals. You see how this is how it works. They've got to deflate the bond and the dollar market and its buying power and impoverish the masses. They've got to move it somewhere. We've always said the golden arch from the old iron horse train. Remember the Western, if you're old enough, I was a tiny Todd, all the way to the new monorail system that they're offering you. Gold is the preservational arch. You get into gold and silver. I'm not a perma gold bull. I will always value gold. I think it always serves a purpose. And having some will always be wise, but there will be times to be in other things. There will be times to be in other things apart from silver. You need to maintain your value and net worth in those assets. And then when they start to pump up the beach ball of the status cryptos that they will run, and we've shown you the Monero setup, which is not running hugely yet, but will in due course and outperform gold and potentially outperform silver and platinum too. That's when you get the surge of the digital game. You see, you've got to jump onto the stepping stones as they are up, and as they sink, you jump onto the next one. And if you miss any of the steps or you do them in the other wrong order, you get wrecked, as per crypto bros that have been aggressively purely crypto, thinking it's all going to pan out. They're going to flush you out. They don't want you to maintain your wealth. They don't want you to grow your wealth. They need you a poor serf. So you jump in the final step too soon, they crush it first. And they crush the fiat world. That's how they crush the average normie. The only place for hiding round about now is in the precious metals for good. Wait till you see what happens on the stock markets, the stinky, stinky, oily little stock markets, the stoink markets. They all want you to buy oil. Don't forget you got mean bot CIA, NSA, agent type profiles that got pumped to be big influencers. Pompliano, Max Kaiser, all screaming at once that gold had made a top, silver had made a top, and you should all be buying Bitcoin. And they all repeated this rotation meme. The rotation meme is this: rotation to preservation. The preservation of capital is gold and silver and platinum, not Bitcoin, not digital magic internet money brought to you by your Japanese imaginary friend, sponsored by Epstein, NSA, Mossad, and the rest of the usual complex. Okay, that's not your pal right now. This is the chart. Show it to be true. It's performing to be true. We said it. Many others have said it, by the way. So I don't mean anything by that. But we have been in this train. This is not a new position we have taken. We have been in this train, and it is quite clear. Physical assets are currently the theme. You need to nail them and nail them good. You nail this, you won't even have to make the money in the digital options that they'll be throwing your way and inflating later. You will have done so well. You will have done so well. Speculate to accumulate. We are here. We understand the order, the firing order, but they need to crush everything first. They need to crush retail in crypto before they pumped it, and that's why it's underperforming. So there's a number of opportunities. What about if we go on to a lower time frame? The people that say you've had no chance, there's no low risk entries into silver and gold. Well, if I show you that, there was a broadening structure. In fact, I'm just going to get it on Tickmill. I've done all my annotations on it, and it is there. Let's go over there. This is one of our brokers, by the way. You can see it below in our links. I trade with every single one of those accounts. Every single one of those accounts are at all-time highs. SimpleFX, absolutely killing it. You can use crypto as collateral. You can send BTC. You can use USDT. You can use normal fiat. Absolutely killing it, using it, loving it, well managed. If you're new, they hold that margin and they don't let you trade your profit margin. It's actually very good for you. It's disciplined. Your account will grow, but you'll not lose your head. An inverse pyramid. They don't allow you to do that. You'll get up to your maximum margin. That's it. And then you will keep watching that account grow. Great for new starters. In the links below, YouTube, SimpleFX, Tickmill. You will get normal UK and European leverage off Tickmill, but if you're outside there, you can actually get excess leverage for the more advanced guy. There you can lean really, really hard. That is some of what I've been doing in the silver markets. We've been breaking into these trades on the broadening structure right there, all the way up, flags, all the way up the previous continuation here. Most of these stop losses, except for the last one on this late entry over here, are in the positive. These are profit locks now, but they are under the price action and they've been brought up. And the real targets that I hope to be hitting are on the high side. You don't see them. They're a million miles away, friends. They're a million miles away. This is the beginning of a move you need to stay in. This melt up phase is going to be longer than people realize. It could be 6 months like this. You've got to remember, you're talking about a 60-year pattern. You're talking about suppression of 6 decades. You've got to go down, 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 and you've got to unwind all the dynamics. You do not open silver mines overnight. You don't even open an existing shaft very quickly and get it manned and get people down there overnight. You are sitting in a situation that the Shanghai silver is trading at nearly 10% above and ahead of the COMEX and LBMA. You have got a lot to close. Let's have a look at, let's see, silver Shanghai market and see if someone's sharing it. I'm not sure. I did the document thing. I'm not sure I can find it on my Tradingview. Let's have a look. 81.99. 81.99. You're at $82 on Shanghai. Silver price 7 hours ago. That's about right. That would have been the close of the Chinese session 7 hours ago. You're with me, the Market Sniper. Hit the like button, share to a friend, get us to 100K. On 1350, 10 minutes to 2 on UTC -5 time 7 hours ago. Shanghai closed at $82. 82. You're surprised this thing's being sucked up? You can't trade to a discount. There is no not-for-profit business. This number not move up enough. It's already lagging far too far. They don't really want it to go up, but you're lagging some better part of $5 behind what you need to be. That percent is very, very significant. And if it gets much larger, people demand delivery in COMEX, LBMA, and they ship it where they can sell at 82 over there, and there's $5 towards your costs. It starts to become really, really good arbitrage trade. That's how it works, friends. We have stacked all the way along blue lines. You see these blue lines? Those are entries on leverage, utilizing our Tickmill brokerage account. Link in the description below. Stacking entries the whole way, where all the loss stops are now well above the entries and our profit locks on an immense degree, utilizing HVF method. Guys, you should be in this setup, setting yourself up for life. This, for my entire career of developing HVF method, has just come literally to this particular opportunity right here, right now. It is reset. It's your chance to build wealth, generational wealth, and to ensure you are not part of the locust-eating serfdom classes that will be required to take UBI and every single medical intervention they wish to bring to bear on you. That is an essential to build wealth, not for the love of money, for the love of freedom, lifestyle, and protecting your family. That is what good paternal people do for their families, and for the amazing female audience that we have in our YouTube, smart maternal ladies that secure their family's security in the absence of anyone else acting out that role. We want more women getting smarter too, and absolutely maximizing it. And you should share this YouTube to at least one lady you know that may have had some money problems, need some guidance on where to invest on a non-advisory basis, who will own her own outcomes and will start stacking silver and improving her lifestyle as a result of that. That's what you need, friends. That's what you need. These things are going to become super valuable at 10. So let's go do the gold silver ratio. By the way, this trading style that I'm showing you as we smash upwards from 77, this trading style is doable on platinum and gold too, and I am doing that. Okay, so you can absolutely maximize in doing this. I want to show you gold and silver ratio. You are in the meatiest and best part of this move, and it's lasting for longer, not because that time can generally last long in setups. It's usually about 5 to 10% of the total time on a target. It's where you achieve the most in a very short time. But on a 60-year setup, it's going to shock. And with the distance it has to make to get to single digits. Let's just be clear for a minute, friends. For you to trade 10, which is 100th off 9.99, the single digit number, at current gold prices, which will be going up as inflation and debasement continues. For you to trade 10, let's get that gold price, currently 4,532. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to lowball you and say gold is going to be 4,500 in the future when this 10 happens. At 4,500, friends, at 10 to 1 gold to silver ratio, which, by the way, is not the ratio it's being pulled out of the ground at. It's 6.9 at the moment. But at that ratio, silver needs to be $450. $450. $450. That's $4.5 grand right there. right there. And the other one is, add another zero, is $45,000. That's right, 100 ounce is now $45,000 at that price. And the futures one that I can barely hold, that is 1,000 ounces, is $450,000. That one, you know, the 32 kilo one. That one, I've shared a picture on X of how they look for your benefit. That is where you are going to head. Now, let's do more realistic stuff. We're in a parabola of debt and fiat debasement. You are in a parabola of debt and fiat debasement. End of story. That gold price is probably more likely by the time we get to 10 to be closer to 10K itself. That is why we say 4 digits. At a 10 to 1, which isn't the top, I still think you can go 6.9 if that's what they mined out. And the sad fact is you overshoot. It's still cheaper than gold, even at 3 to 1. That doesn't mean it's going to stay there, but it can spike there. Solar panels, industrial demand, not enough mines. Hey, you'd rather have the, you know, if you're using conductivity, yes, gold is conductive, but you're not going to spend 3 times more. You could have silver touch 3 to 1 at that period. At a moment that gold is 10K. Now imagine that. That's $3,000. That's well through the 4 digits, my friends. So for those of you that think you're late, the good news is even the metalheads think they're late. They don't understand the scale of the very thing they've been predicting. I'm looking at guys that are chartists that have laying great claim to having been there from the very beginning, and they called it all and all of that, but this has got too disorderly, a major setback. They're going to sit in disbelief while we maximize in the most unique phase that could run for months. Melt up stage, melt up. You know, if you could stand a realistic chance, let's say I'm being a bit ridiculous. Let's do a semi-conservative one. Let's say gold is 7,500. and you just get to 10 to 1. You are at a $750 price, and you're saying it's too expensive, it's 75. It's too expensive right now, it's 77. 750, how do you like them apples? Crypto thinks it's the only thing that's ever done that. Crypto is the silver markets of 1980. Everything crypto thinks it is has been done before by gold and exploration miners and everything else. The entire industry is based off of silver and gold as money. It's borrowed the terms, it's called mining, it's everything. They think they're the new thing. They're the rebranded digital NSA agenda of digital money that is all controlled on the Rothschild Rockefeller railway system. The chain, you've got to run on their chain, and they own the booms, the access, the confiscation, and everything else. This doesn't have a railway. My grubby little mitt is the railway from which it goes from here to here. And I didn't pay anybody for the use of their railway line. You watch it again, I'll show you. There it is, and now it's here. Isn't that amazing? I dig a hole in the ground, it'll be there. And you know what? It won't get smaller, it won't get lighter, and it won't disappear. It won't be eroded. No, sir, it won't be eroded. That is where we are at. That is what's coming. So the first part of the answered question to when and how do we sell silver is, why are you thinking of selling silver already? The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. You can see recent entries over here, by the way, maximization, recent entries, pop, 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 pop. And you can see their stop losses already trailed under technical lows. And we're going and we're getting 4,530. We had a little pullback. Hey, if some of these orange levels get taken, it's all good. The number's positive. The number's positive. It's giving me a new low point for a fresh entry on a bigger continuation, on a bigger time frame. More security, more proof of support levels, more opportunities. The big time is up. The question is, how do I maximize the sweetest spot in market trading that I've ever got? That is your question. Not, hey, when do I sell? You're already panicking. You've made your first 10 grand in the markets, or you're already panicking. You made your first 100 grand. Don't snatch a 1-1 draw when a 6-0 drubbing for your team is on the cards. Don't do it. This is your sweetest spot you've ever been in terms of trading. If you don't want to maximize on the way up, then at least hold for the level. So to answer the question, for many that have asked the question, what levels do I sell? Gold, you don't start disposing of your silver for gold, physical assets, or maybe a Monero or a status token, a little bit, and cash and a nice house and some physical stuff to live your best life. Don't start doing that until you are falling through double digits on the gold-silver ratio. And that won't necessarily be the top. You're likely to overshoot the current mining standard, which is 6.9. Unless that suddenly goes up and we have a splurge of supply that brings the current mining supply back up to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. As long as the mining supply is at 6.9, the single digit gold-silver ratio is actually quite a reasonable one. It sounds extreme. We haven't been there in absolute centuries, Francis. How can you say that? Maths. It's called maths. It's called maths. If you're getting it out at that level and you're short and you have a shortfall at that level, the price has to get at that level. You're in the biggest melt-up you've ever seen. There are a lot of fake bulls, a lot of phony bulls, a lot of people that are already getting trembling hands because they've already made a 2x or a 3x. This will embarrass certain crypto moves from shitcoins. What's going down? You are in the melt-up stage on silver. You are on the melt-up stage on silver. The gold-silver ratio goes to single digits on balance of probabilities. I can't tell you absolutely. It's a far higher probability to me than not. That's my assessment. Hey, it might just be for a short spell. It might be in a major dip down and supply might suddenly explode. Who knows? A lot of things could happen, but you've got a long way to go. That gold-silver ratio, let us do it. That's when you start saying, hey, I'm thinking about it's getting close now, etc., etc. Everyone's going to tell you at 30, hey, that's an industry standard. We should be getting out of gold at 30. And I will say no, 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 especially while there are various aspects. And it keeps on coming down. We warned you 65 would get a reaction and that you could have a rally. You got it. You smashed the 65. First, you supported on the 65 and rallied. Then you smashed it through and you got a return move. That is classic price behavior. Since that return move, little inverted HVF there on the gold-silver ratio, a slap in the face there, massive break, return move, spiller, broadening structure, ascending nature, spiller, absolutely, you got it, more broadening structure, spiller, yes, friends, this is what a trend does. It's bigger and badder than all these half-bull commentators that told you they called everything and are terrified and saying there's no low-risk entries into the precious metals. Change your time frame. Change your time frame. Drop a few time frames. There's still gifts to be had on the daily, the weekly, the 4 hour. That's not getting into silly speculator levels such as half hours and 15 minutes. And even still, I've shown that those work and that they can work and may well continue to do so. Exploit this melt up to its maximum. Learn how, book a call. Don't do it without stop losses. Don't do it without stop losses. Don't not understand what's going down. You really have to manage losses. And at the same time, once it's moved in your favor, reduce the size by the target, but leave half on for the rest. That takes the tension out of your body, and then you can trail those working stops, as I have shown you on my own trading platform, utilizing the very links that I have in there. SimpleFX, SCM, Scandinavian Capital Markets, also in there. All-time high account. All-time high account using SCM. Has platinum as well. SCM, so does SimpleFX, so does Tickmill. SCM also has the Korean won, which I'm having as my counter hedge, and occasionally the USD JPY as my counter hedge to a mini period of dollar strength. But let's say one thing. Let me just move this chart. I'm sorry, I see my head's in the way there. Let's just move the chart. That is your gold-silver ratio. We've got a bottom right bias there on my personal image and bring it back to you. So I will show you those crashes again on the gold-silver ratio. You came down and you supported on 65. You had a reaction. Then you broke. So there you go. Down, 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 support. Then you broke with momentum, return move, inverted HVF. I draw it all over again. Downside break, broadening structure. Downside break, continuation. Continuation is your friend. Keep on keeping on in a major stage 3 of a breakout. Capitulation in this case on the gold-silver ratio, which also happens to be meltup on the silver movement. Capitulation, maximization. This is your opportunity. The bold. You need to be bold. You need to determine that you want to make enough out of this. HVF method is your friend. Stop losses with size losses. You could, for example, there, if you were trading this chart, you wouldn't do it. You'll trade the silver to the long side. Simple as. But these are all standard technical opportunities on a 1 hour time frame that tell me when I should be biasing silver long, adding some risky silver. Sometimes I outsize on a very tight stop, and as soon as it makes the target, I take half the sizing off and I get a big old lump. Sometimes I'll be wrong and I'll lose, but it's always a known amount in an aggressive manner. And that's an H1 time frame. You don't have to get right into the silly weeds of smaller time frames. But once it's moved far, far away, as it continues to do, we are talking 77, guys. And at the same time, the Shanghai is at 82. How long do you think before this has to have an 8 in front of it? We warned you on this channel that the calls at 80 and 85 were getting excess interest. The market was trading 50. It was goddamn ridiculous thing to say at the time. What? February delivery? That was just a few months ago. That was November. We were still in the 50s. And here I was saying, somebody knows things. There's massive volume with calls that only start making money at 80 and 85. 80 and 85 for February delivery. 80 and 85 for February delivery. Think about that. Who buys big on something that doesn't have a very strong feeling? Big money, well informed. There is problems in the land. That's what that kind of price behavior on the option market. It's very 9/11 like, short the airlines. Somebody knows something behind the scenes that are backing with large amounts of money. The people who sold those calls could be in deep, deep trouble. They start realizing it. Hell's bells, we're at $77. It's $3 away from 80. The Shanghai is already at 82. And I've still got 2 months to go. These guys are going to be ripping my face off. This thing could be at $100. That market sniper interim level 2 running the 90.5 through to $100. How much will you be in? How much will you be worth in gold and silver ounces on that moment? Friends, this is big. This is big. You're going to get shaken out. You're going to have the people that told you you should rotate to Bitcoin. You're going to have the other people that are telling you should be buying ExxonMobil, oil or oil stocks. You're going to hear it all. You're going to be shown so many pretty little tarts that are all wiggling their ass in your direction. You married Giselle Bundchen. You ignore them all. You say, back off, whore, back off. No touching the sniper. He knows. He's spoken for. This is who you are with. Do not be tempted out of the best seat in the house while everybody else sells you vaporware, digital, magical, internet money. Internet magic from the Japanese imaginary friend is gonna rotating and turning and making you much better and all. No, and no. Okay, you're right where you need to be. You must understand. This is the winning seat in the house. Maximization is your only game. Live your fullest life with the most beautiful bride. And stop being seduced by all the prostitutes along the way and all the other options. As you get wealthier, the inducements get more. But you've done well. It's time to move. You must hop. You must jump. No. Maximize the 60-year pattern, friends. 60-year pattern. 60-year pattern. Your melt-up phase needs to get you to 4 digits for me. Start thinking about it when you're at 4 digits on silver. Start thinking about it when you're at single gold-silver ratio. Start thinking about it. If gold's only 5,000, and you get to 10 to 1. Silver needs to be at 500. 77.3 is a cheap buy. Shanghai's at 82. It's a cheap buy. The discount window, it's been made so large, so big, it's got to cover so much ground to get economic. You don't know how far you've got. You've got to be stealing stuff. You've got to be selling the family jewels and everything else and stacking silver into this bull market. Keep on keeping on. Continuation is your friend. Melt up stage on the monthly and the weekly, and plenty of opportunities on the 4-hourly and the daily to maximize, 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 maximize. You are building wealth for generations right here, right now with HVF method. Book a call. Time to get wealthy. You fix a lot of problems when it doesn't hurt so much because of cost of things. You'll have a new residency, you'll have a home in a different place, you'll have a vault in a different country, a different jurisdiction, because you can afford it. Because the first thing you do is serve yourself, because no one serves you like you'll serve yourself. Build your wealth, protect your family, then protect that wealth, and then secure yourself. Multi-jurisdictional existence across the world, in different parts of the world, outside of the Western axis that is in a state of absolute decline. Okay, that is where I stand. That is what I'm telling you. We are maximizing. You can too. You need to get to the point where you're able to write checks without blinking for getting yourself freedom, multiple jurisdictional existence, nomadic existence, and many other things. Keep the extractors at the door in the West. They are 100% coming for you. Agent Orange, Christine Lagarde, with all sorts of cheery Christmas announcements in a black witch suit and her orange face, all about the digital money that they're going to be ramming down your throats, the urgent need for a war that they don't want to mention because they're absolutely sinking. That Euro experiment is in deep trouble. This is not a beat up on America only. There is all of the Western world, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, you guessed it, Japan, South Korea, all part of the Western axis are in deep trouble. Let's have a look at a couple of super chats. Thank you for the super chats to Josie Rick, Sniper, aka John the Baptist. Do you have any discounts or coupons for your HVF classes? Currently, funds are low after Xmas giving. We do not. Everyone pays the same. We don't do Black Fridays. We don't get involved in consumer. Let me just tell you something. And this is, and I appreciate the sentiment of what is being done here. Right now, the community, as it stands, is the cheapest it's ever been. The dollar has been debasing, and we haven't changed pricing, wait for it, since 2017. We did set it fairly high. Everyone was flush with Bitcoin money at 2017. It's now ridiculously low. In that time frame, we transitioned from a WhatsApp group to a full-blown, beautiful platform, custom done, that's 100% private. We've full-blown to many more webinars. We've full-blown to much better level recorded content, second versions, studio recorded. We have invested, and all the dollar has done is go down. And we've continued to invest it, and we're already working on our future platform while the current platform is running. We've added tools, HVF drawing tools, and everybody in the community gets them without being asked to shell out another red penny. And we are actually going to be looking at price increases. If you take chance of your 3-day, you will get a discount, your first visit incentive. But we are looking at price increases across the board. We also have multiple products. So if you can't afford the full community, you can get the self-study and their payment options as well. We do all these things, and we're priced in the biggest peanut monkey money at the moment. We will at some point pivot to gold ounce pricing. Then you will get discounts as the gold price goes up if you want gold ounce pricing. Right now, we are probably in and around 2 ounces of gold. By the time it gets to 1 ounce, I won't let it get any further. I will price it in whatever money monkey tied to gold ounce. That's how it will be. It is incredible value. It's an investment. It's the multiple you get on your money. Look at this silver going, 77.4. Twitter is filled with people saying you should be getting out. There's a major correction coming. Yes, eventually that'll be correct. And even in the melt-up phase, there can be small corrections. But let me tell you, it's going to be single-mindedly up. There are real opportunities. Focus on the opportunity, not the cost. Get in on a level you can afford and maximize. Our prices are too low for what we've invested. We invest hundreds of thousands now in platforms, tools, and other things, just so that we can continue. We're adding further targeting aspects. Lots of things are going on. We want it better, better, better. I'm only interested in one thing, being better, taking it forward, bringing more to the thing. I've just started to live. I don't know what age I am. I feel like I'm 26. Some point I'll just drop down dead and realize I was 103 when it happened. I don't know. I'm telling you, we're getting bigger, badder, and better, and we're living our best life, and we're loving what we do. We're passionate about what we do. That extends your life. We would like the same for you. If you recognize that, you book yourself a call. You get where people are loving their lives. I'm going riding in the desert, damn it, on January for 4 days, called the hell. Hot, sandy, dirt roads, lovely. I'll probably share a couple of snaps and I'll take you in there. Anyway, thank you for your question and your super chats. But manifest, save, stack gold and silver ounces. You will get a return as a multiple on your investment in due course. Give yourself the time. So thank you for that super chat. Let's see what else. Are there community members in the house? Have a word with Josie Rick. Tell him if it was something worth doing or not. So let's see what other super chats we got. We got one from Stacking Surfer. Stacking Surfer, thank you for your super chat. You get a like and a thumbs up. We play the game. Hoping to interview you soon, Francis. Everyone needs to hear this message. I will set it up sometime today. Please do support at the Market Sniper. We love helping other YouTube channels to grow. We are not monopolist on anything. We want sound money people to all grow. We want everyone to win. Every person that stacks a couple of ounces of silver is one less rioter, one less UBI serf being injected with poison, and one saved, free, sovereign individual. That motivates me. That motivates me. And if your voice is one of those that wants to bring that message, I want to help you. No money changes hands. No inducements required. I give time for that. Okay, that's where we stand. I love it. Okay, keep going. Good luck with your channel. We hope more people. Is 3-day class still available? So we have 3x1 non-farm live trading days, which you get when you purchase 2. So it's a buy 2, get a third free. Look at the silver chart, by the way. While we are talking, this thing is clocking cents. It is clocking cents, friends. That is just more money, please. It's just pouring. The monkey money profits are just pouring in here. It's scary. I'm telling you, it's scary how good and how strong this is. We are this short period while we've been streaming. You know, you've gone from 76.9 to 77.64. People forget a dollar in an hour. That never used to happen in silver. Very, very rarely. What other super chats do we have? Have we answered everybody? I see them stacking here. I'm not too good at finding them all. I am in the community. AG triggered monthly HVF. There you go. There's some community members in the house. Pure Bloods in the house. We like it. Jab freeze. Good girl. Good man. Good everybody. 83 bucks in China. That's right. 80. I think it was 82 we found, but you might be right. For the last decade, we've been getting laughed at. Who's laughing now? Indeed. And it's just started. People are going to look at all. There's going to be that rich class of, ooh, those were the people that invested in silver. Those were the people that invested in silver and traded the melt-up phase and became disproportionately rich. They were ordinary Joes, and then suddenly they weren't. And you can be that, and you will be mobile, virile. You'll be all the aisles. You'll be up the aisle. You'll be everybody's going to want to marry you. I tell you what, it's a great day to be a silver stacker, and this is early. I keep reiterating, this is early. The question is not when do I remove? That's a twitchy dance floor type statement. It's how do I absolutely receive the fullness of the gifts that are being offered, this abundance of crop, the manna from heaven that falleth down upon me. How do I fully receive that I can serve many and feed many, many people for many, many days? It is coming, it is coming, it is here. And you should not look the gift horse in the mouth. Let's have a look. There's another super chat there. It looks like Aussie dollar. Thank you very much. Jürgen Blessing, N599. I hope that's the Ferrari 599 that you love. Thank you. My face has molten partly already. Abra Silver. He wants Abra Silver. So let's show you Abra Silver to, it's getting boring watching the silver chart tick up every single second. Yeah, let's watch Abra Silver. So Abra Silver Resource, I'm expecting that's Toronto. Do I say it like that? Toronto. Abra Silver in Toronto. Nice little cupping move. The miners, by the way, and remember that caveat on certificates. Must have your paper. Grubby mitts. See my grubby little mitts? They hold your paper with your name or your entity or your foundation or your trust. Nice little rounded pocket. This is going to go higher on the 1 hour. Let's have a look at it on a more sensible time frame. We'll go to the monthly. Abracadabra. You should read into that. That's Aramaic for from my words. Let my words be a spell. Check it out. Abracadabra. Yeah, there's some magic spelt with a K in all of that. You should interesting studies to be done in the esoteric world. So you did have an upside HVF on this fella. A little bit of a crush too. But I will draw it for you nonetheless, and I believe it already has been made, and of course you're in overperformance, so it's more about what it did than what it's still to do, but that's on a weekly time frame. So let's have a look at that one. There she goes, one more tick. We grab that hammer low, and it was a little bit repressed, but there you go. And you can see how you got a little bit of a broadening structure as you were grinding through target. It shook its head a little bit in getting there, and then pop goes a weasel. Silver keeps climbing. It's got to keep going up. That's it. There you go. And you will get these opportunities. You will get these opportunities all along the way. You know, I just need to look at a chart for 5 seconds, and they're sitting and staring me at the face. That's the value of HVF method. You think they're rare. They aren't. Continuation patterns are a fact. They're a fact of life. They're a fact of life. The things on the lower time frames don't go up vertically. I think, did we do monthly? Let's do the biggest time frame here. Monthly, not so much history, but a big sell-off and then a turn. Let's pull this through because the guys can't see. Abracadabra, I say. Abra Silver. Big rounded bottom, 219, 220. Surge move up. This thing's going to go a lot higher generally. But you don't have enough technical runway for me to tell you how much. There are others that are slightly better for that, but this has got a lot of runway, as most silver miners will do. We can update you on good old heckling, double bubble, toil and trouble, they say. This one is in overperformance mode. Wow. Let's just get the full picture. Not just that little structure, the full picture. I mean, I keep drawing this every time I come to it, and it doesn't change. You know, the song remains the same. That's what I like if you've got your draw right. Oh, interesting point. You have made your first interim on Heckler. First interim. We gave the gap on the results here in the primer when it was $5, $6 range. It's now $20 range. My calls that I bought well out the money at $20 are now in the money, and I have further all the way up. That is Heckle. Good old Heckle. 84.75. It's Heckler, of course, but who knows? Maybe it's a Heckler as well. So it's 84.75 and beyond. Think that 4-digit silver and the cost, because the costs aren't going to go up. You saw what's happening to oil. Oh dearie me. And again, I've shown the oil barrels and silver chart. I'm not going to do it again, but let's just have a look at US oil. A depressed economy, the stagnation part, is not good for the oil price. A government wanting to mask inflation, it's not good for the oil price. That's where they are. They're all in cahoots together, the Saudis, the lot. They choose when they print money. Let's get this chart sorted out. Let's get it sorted out. Let's hide the lines. Let's do this. There you go. That's oil. $56, friends. In the time that we mentioned it, it has lost over $30 from 86 to 56. It was actually 87. So oil is keeping costs of mining relatively low. Salaries aren't really growing, and the top line is flying. Miners are compressing a spring by not moving as much as silver. They're going to turn into cash hemorrhaging machines, and then people are going to realize this ain't changing. This ain't changing. We've got to really get involved. Let's show you the oil chart again. It's hiding behind my image. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, how are you guys doing? Let's see something else. Francis, love your work, fine sir. Can we look at PTM, Platinum Miner out of South Africa, as many of them are? Thank you for your super chat. It's Harris O'Hale, and we give him a like, and now it wants me to report him, the poor bastard. Let's not do that. Just a like will do. So PTM. So Platinum Miners, friends, another. This one is Toronto. I think you want JSE. I think you wanted. Platinum Group Metals. Take away that advert for a second. Let me finish getting the poor man's question properly. PTM out of SA. Yeah, we've got to get a JSE one. Portugal, OTC, BBG. Computer says no. Stocks. Just do stocks. Just do stocks. I'm not seeing, it might, I think you must mean Toronto, friend. Forgive me, I don't see PTM. Out of SA is Northern Platts, Impala Platts, Zim Platts, which has now changed name, I think. There's a few others. Platinum Group Metals in Toronto is actually surprisingly unresponsive. That is in a sewer. You'd have to check management out, because if it's just down to metals price, this should be doing a lot more. This should be doing a lot more. You need to find out what management done. Maybe they got over indebted in the bad years. There's a lot of sickness here that it should be rebounding. So yeah, I'm not even sure I'm checking the right miner that you want. If you want to see some platinum miners, we'll do North Platts, for example, quite a big one. That's got I think JSE. Remember, JSE is in rands, a lot stronger currency than a dollar. Off. How funny is that? Yep, the rand has been beating up on the dollar, gone down from 20 rand to 16. In the 16s, dollar is dying, even to bad governance countries with mining, which certainly helps. So that's a pretty recent, I would say, all-time high for Northern Platts. But there's been a restructure. It's not the longest mine. Let's see what else we've got in South Africa. I think we have Implats, which is Impala. It's going to make us type the word Impala. Again, let's take it. You can have it on the London stock, or you can have it on the JSE. So this one's got a bit more history from 2003, absolutely mullered in COVID, down to 1,500 Rand, not very much. Now 27,000 Rand, which if you divide by 16 is about $1,000, $1,500. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, I think so. But this one will go, I think, off the chart in terms of height. So platinum miners are going to do just grand. Let's have a look at the regular scale. Bit of a falling wedge into that low. I think you go significantly higher on all of these highs that you've never seen before. And by the way, that falling wedge that you're seeing there, let me just rescale that. That falling wedge very much represented platinum while it was being substituted for palladium as well. So it's less of a reflection on management and more just the market. Let's have a look at those live chats one more time. Is there anyone I missed in the super chats side? Hopefully not. Thank you. My face is molten. I think we got that. Two questions. Jesse James, 88. Do you think we're at the point where the paper Ponzi shorting game for precious metals is over? And at what point do you think we can see martial law in the West? At any time, it could break out. I do think 2026 is going to be a turmoil year. The debt markets are the primary concern. So let's have a look at debt markets. No one's talking about Japan at the moment today that I can see. Silver is getting all the news. But let's just keep an eye on this fella. And let's go daily. How's it done today? So it's been moving very steadily up, but it's in a bit more choppy times. Let's have a look at the 10-year on the same, because the yen is weakening again to the dollar. That had a blow-off move and then a minor pullback that closed the gap, and it's probably going to reassert upside. This is another instance of rising wedges breaking up. Remember, we've been telling you all this time, rates go up generally, especially long end. The central banks at most have tenuous control over the long end, some control over the short end that is dissipating. That's what you want to keep an eye on. So do you think we're at the point where the paper Ponzi shorting game? Well, this is it, shorting yen. We can have a look at the USD on the 10-year as well. I'm not sure it's going to be rampant in any way, but it was moving up, as you know, when the rate cuts were finally in. It's consolidating at this level. Let's clean our face there. Consolidating on this level. It's in a bit of a squeeze construction like that, and that looks like a fractal that will slowly move it up. So it's happening reasonably slowly until suddenly it doesn't. That's Trump tariff tantrum. If Trump does something stupid and destructive, he can accelerate this climb in rates and the crash in the bond market. And the crash in the bond market is the further turbo juice acceleration into, you guessed it, the precious metals market. If I was a dollar issuing country now, I would keep issuing paper like gangbusters and just buying gold and silver and platinum and any other strategically required reserve. So I would just keep Ponziing, and that would just be the acceleration of the decline of the fiat and debt market. And that would be an acceleration of, at least when we go bust, we'll be sitting on a lot of silver and gold inside our borders and platinum. I'd try and make the most of it. It's kind of like a bankruptcy. You go and buy all the things you're going to need. A new suit to interview, a decent second-hand car, you max all your credit cards out. There's no way you can pay what you got. You make sure every debt and loan is to the limit, and then you stop paying all the payments all at once, and you go give all that stuff to your ex-wife's name or whomever, and then you continue to use those items when the liquidator comes around and takes everything off you, bar your shirt. So that's kind of where we are. So we got Molten Face, we got Yum. I think we caught most of the chats. One quick point I will say, because again, I'm no fan of the digital game, the CBDCs and the cryptos by intent. But just to put in perspective performance of Bitcoin during this period, this is not good structure. That is not good structure. That is a problem. That's a little up and down. You got rejected in an inverted funnel there on a lower time frame. You traded up and you've gone back down. So don't listen to the Bitcoin maximalists telling you to rush in. That doesn't look particularly great at all. And we can take for the alt market the proxy, because this does become more and more part of the overall plan. There's nothing you're missing here. The red line is the line we expect to have broken. That is a broadening structure on a very strong selling pole, which has had, along the way, continuation structures, much like I said, for the upside of trading silver long to the downside of the crypto market. Inverted HVF, stop there, short there, target made on a wick there, do it again, keep doing this. You can do that. I'm too engaged on the long side to chop around, but this breaks this line in my view and goes lower. Next key level is going to be 2,000. That's $900 away. At each Ethereum, that's a lot of silver buys at 77, going in the opposite direction. 77 going to a 4-digit number. You've got a 4-digit number going sub 2,000 possibly here, and then may later take out the lows. 1,055 is there. You could end up with Ethereum ending it back as a 3-digit number and silver going to a 4-digit number. You could at the extremist moments. And then eventually at some point, the status will come in. We still like XMR USD for upside at some point. We still like it, and it's been relatively stronger. It has a semblance of privacy in it. You can follow all of that on our crypto channel with us, the Market Sniper. We divide it by gold ounces as a true proxy. But whoops, that's twice I clicked. Let's try it again. So that for us is an up, but it's, it's taking its time. It's not ripping like the silver is. It's taking its time against the dollar, but against gold, it's yet to fully set up. So that means gold is going to outperform a little bit longer before this one comes to bear. So against gold, there's your setup. That's how it looks. Let's hit the enter button. See, still a red. We're still in that part. We're still winding up to go up. We need another and then you might get a jab to the upside, and then you will have completed your pattern. So the metals are where you want to be for now, but this is coming. I'm telling you, your future move. Not now, future move. And we haven't even done maximizing the silver. We're telling you it's early doors on silver, just as everyone's going, oh, I don't know, going up this much, this fast. Oh, you're going to have a violent correction coming soon. Eventually, you might get some, but it's going to be less than you think. Like we said with interest rates, when everyone was saying, no, you're going to get cuts, the economy is so weak, you'll get 1 or 2 cuts. They're going to be less of them for shorter. It's going to take longer for them to come. And in the end, the rates go up higher than you thought anyway. And that's exactly what's happening on your debt markets from 10-year, 20-year, 30-year, 40-year. We covered it in Japan. 3 years before anyone else was interested in it, and now everyone is updating you every day on the Japanese bond market. Why? Because debt died with the dollar dying on debt in 2020. They were the first that broke. We called it on TLT, and then we went and we ran the ruler on all of them because we said it's not just America, it's a category, it's a class, it's the phony fiat debt Ponzi scheme that actually is across all the silos of different nations' debts. Once one's become invaluable, all the other nations have pursued similar quests. Theirs will become invaluable too. We're just quite logical and rational and early. We're before everyone else, and we don't get the attention on the media for being before because we're almost too far before. You want to be the guy just before the news guys are ready to start talking about it, that predicts it, with a profile who always wears a suit and never says dodgy things. Then you'll and you've written some self-published book, for example. Then you're going to be on all CNBC and all of that. We ain't ever see. You're never going to see me on CNBC. Let's be assured of that. You won't do it. 48 Motor X, thank you. Greetings from Canada, Mr. Sniper. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you and the family and crew. Very kind of you. No questions. Just a good wish. We appreciate it. Okay, guys. I'm going to wind us down and say thank you very much. Don't forget, here's the key message. Just focus. This is the key period where you think Christmas is done. You got fat and lazy. Your stomach's still trying to digest the cake you piled on top of the pork scratchings, and you've left him in a big funk. Here's what you need to do. What you need to really do is think how you're playing 2026. You have some time off from whatever your toil is. My toil is this. I love it. I do it for free. I'm doing it on Boxing Day. I don't care. I choose to do it because I've got something to share that I want you to have because I love it. I love it. I don't get paid to do it. I don't have a boss. I'm lucky that way. I've got my own business, but I'm here to tell you something. I'm here to inspire you. I'm here to say there's a real opportunity, actually. You don't do a crash and have all the destruction without an opportunity. When an avalanche of rock and snow is halfway down the mountain, the village is getting hit, but the opportunity is for the guy who cuts timber, the guy who builds houses, the medic, the carer, all of those. They get work, unfortunately, when the villagers get pounded. It's how life works. How are you positioned for the avalanche? Do you want to sit in the house at the foot of the mountain and get clobbered? Or do you want to be the guy that fixes everything, gets too much business, helping everybody, charges prices that is fair for your labor, makes good profits, but at the same time is serving those that were affected by it all? This is your opportunity for positioning for 2026. You have time now to think, write it down. I still have a notebook. I have bits of paper and a notebook, those short carry notebooks with a pen. Nothing beats pen and paper. Write it down. You've just given it the power of 10x. You've just given your thought the power of 10x when you say it, and then you write it down. You give it another 10x for writing it. You need to write it. You need to write it. Think it, say it, write it, prepare it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to maximize this silver run a la the HVF method with the market sniper. I'm going to change my financial standing explicitly, and I'm going to utilize the flows from that to secure myself a multi-jurisdictional footprint with properties in many places. You're going to be thinking, how can I do that? I don't have the money. Give yourself a year with this market. Give yourself a year with this market with good training and stop losses. You'll be amazed what can be achieved. You will overestimate what you'll achieve in a day and a week. You will underestimate how far you have traveled in a year. I've had a huge year. I look back at all the things that have happened. Huge year, huge year. Everything's been huge. Everything's been huge. The momentum. And the year before that was huge, 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 huge. You can build huge on huge. You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. You will no longer wince when you're writing those checks. You'll be getting yourself set up for life. You'll be leaving a real bequest to your kids who are going to need it to not be part of the sheeple factory. Okay, that's your goal. Give a gift of life and choice to your children. Give yourself freedom. Give yourself multi-jurisdictional existence. Maximize now. We aim to help people with that. That is my specialist topic. This is reset times. Traditional IFAs, wrong advice. There is deception, fraud, and propaganda in everything. News, statistics, the lot. You need to be kept on path, focused, and keep on doing, keep on keeping on. Continuation is your friend. Maximize with stop losses. Take the massive gift on offer from a 60-year created macro HVF, which is in meltup phase and barely just begun it, and has to end up in a 4-digit number as far as I'm concerned. I can't see it any other way. I can't see it being any other way. So if you think you're late, I ask you, how much bigger is $1,000 to $77? What do you buy for $77? Can you get a bloody Burger King for you and your missus? I hope you don't eat that pink goy slop. Well, $1,000 gets you a different quality of meal. It gets you a lot more bigger items. It gets a lot more. Now multiply that and then judicious leverage inside of that for a little bit of maximization along the way, done with trail stop losses, and take profits all the way at key levels to keep you emotionally stable. This is a real, the bestest opportunity. I absolutely, in terms of funds, I expect to retire out on this, although I'll keep on doing what I love to do. But I mean, you know, if there was any doubts, and I want to secure daughters, sons, grandkids' future, that's how you can play this. Okay, with that, I thank you. The links are there. Every broker is used. Every account is at an all-time high. And everything we affiliate with, we personally use. I will not take money from somebody if I don't use it and find it acceptable of standard to use. We also have BTCC for people that want to use crypto without KYC. That's also an option in the links below. You can book a call with us. Change your life. Best investment you could make could happen from this. Maximize this run. Thank you for checking in. We love you and leave you. Enjoy the in-between period. Write it down. Whatever you decide to do, whether it doesn't involve me at all, you think you've got all the keys to the kingdom, write it down. Write it down. Go into the new year. The minute you write it down, your subconscious mind is told something is important, that which got put down here. Formulating the thoughts. Choose your words carefully that they are positively enforced in your mind. Write it down. Let it be. It doesn't have to be a goal. Don't set necessarily targets. Sometimes that can demotivate, but write it down. This is what I aim to achieve. This is what I aim to achieve. Here's how I'm going to go about it. I hope that helps you. Love you all. Thank you for the likes. Get us to 100K. Share the gift of the market sniper for free on your socials to your best friends. We want the ladies, we want the men, and there's only those two genders for us, so don't send it to anybody who's deluded. Okay, till next time. Catch you later. Bye-bye.